Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and while I don't like recording multiple Dirty Devs videos back to back like this, sometimes that's just how circumstances tend to happen. A lot of things can land a developer on the Dirty Devs list: hostility towards gamers, lawsuit threats, asset flipping, blatantly and unrepentant anti-consumer behavior, but among the most surefire way for a developer to find themselves being inducted into the halls of shame is anti-consumer dishonesty, which is what we have here with Wytchsun Elleros Origins, a game being developed by Rampage Interactive and is scheduled to release on June 19th, a mere 1 week from today. The reason why I state anti-consumer dishonesty is due to the fact that the developers are releasing this game for the second time. The reason? To escape the negative reviews the original game's early access had garnered. First, let's go through the specifics of what I'm talking about here. Also, a great many of you responded to my question yesterday regarding the links that I provide for people to be able to go and verify the information themselves, and it seems we had a pretty even split between people that use them and appreciate them and people that don't use them but still appreciate the added transparency. I'm grateful for everyone's feedback. It's actually really good to know that the added effort is useful for you all. Now that said, let's run through this before I get into my opinion on things. As I said, this is Wytchsun Elleros Origins, being developed by Rampage Interactive, a game that will be launched without benefit of early access and at first glance doesn't appear to be a bad game. This is also Elleros Origins, named Greylaw Season 1. It is an early access game currently being sold on Steam for $20 and is currently sitting at a mixed review rating with 63% of the current 30 reviews being positive. In the early access description, you will find the following message. Hi, we're merging this game. Everyone who purchased a copy of Greylaw will receive a free copy of Elleros Wytchsun when it is released. This title will become unsupported and merged with Wytchsun. Thank you to everyone who participated in the limited run 100 copy trial. Now, aside from the same Elleros Origins name, you will note that Greylaw Season 1 is being developed by Frogmore beta testing. This is the steamdb.info page for Greylaw Season 1. Now, within the changelog history, we find the following. 6 months ago, the developers added the store name Elleros Origins Season 1. 4 months ago, Rampage Games was added as the developer and publisher, a not uncommon occurrence with indie developers as they're typically self-published. On May 10th, a little over 1 month ago, the developers changed the developer name and the developer association from Rampage Games to Frogmore. Also on May 10th, the developers changed the title of the game from Elleros Origins Season 1 to Greylaw Season 1. Then also the developer name was changed from Frogmore to Frogmore Beta Testing. Then on May 14th, Rampage Games was removed as the publisher, and the RampageGames.net website was also removed as the game's homepage. Then, 2 days ago, the developers changed the store description to what we already saw. Now this is the steamdb.info page for Wytchsun Elleros Origins, and we can see that this was created on April 12th. On April 16th, the developers added Rampage Games as the listed developer and publisher for the game. Then, 3 days later on April 19th, the developer and publisher names were changed to Rampage Interactive. Then on May 24th, the homepage RampageGames.net was added as well. And on the Greylaw Season 1, or rather the original game's discussion forums, the developers claim a reason why. Now, in the pinned thread discussing a change to the game's name, the developer states, "The game got all its reviews in the first week of launch pretty much. Every issue from then is now fixed, and it was our first experience with early access, or releasing a game on Steam. And people don't seem to change reviews once they're made, even if the game changes. It's eye-opening." I'm interjecting this part of the recording after I had recorded the original audio, as when I went to record some B-roll footage for the video, I realized the menu's music sounded very familiar. Here, I'll play a brief clip to show you the music I'm referring to within the game's menu. Now, I realized this is direct audio theft of a musical performance that I'd actually run across on YouTube before, as I myself am a bit of a fan of Scottish music. Here is the original YouTube video that was published in 2013. So those are the basic core facts that we're working with, and there are a couple of inconsistencies with this data that I have to call attention to. First, they stated that this was merely to change the name of the game. Now this is patently ridiculous. First of all, from everything that I've been seeing from Steam developers, you do not have to create a new Steam storefront to change the name or title of your game. You can do so with relative ease, assuming one also updates all packages with the new name along with changing it in the config section, and of course updating your visual assets. In addition to this, if it were merely to change the name, then it would not require the developers to also obfuscate the original developer name and, ironically enough, change the name of the game at the same time. Then there was also the statement on the original game's early access page claiming it was a 100-copy limited run trial, which is also complete and utter nonsense. How could it be a 100-copy limited run if you can still just go and buy the game right now? And I know it works because I bought the game today. No, the real reason for all of this is quite simple. The developers have reached a point where they now call the game finished and want to be able to sell the game without the negative reviews the game had already garnered, and they have obfuscated the original game at the same time and have changed the developer name to distance themselves from that project. This is nothing more than a form of review manipulation. They're deciding that they don't want to live with the criticism that they have already garnered and have chosen to misrepresent themselves and their game in the process. Yes, they're giving new keys to those that paid for the game in early access, which is also requiring those that backed the game to now jump through hoops if they want the finished version. But at the end of the day, despite what these developers claim, they're dirty. They're deceiving gamers and they're being disingenuous with their actions, hoping people will be too foolish enough to notice in the meantime until the early access version of the game is gone for good, and all to hide from a little negative critique. Critique of a video game is necessary. It is required for gamers to be able to make smart purchasing decisions and not to be taken advantage of. These developers, Rampage Games, have decided that they are above criticism because the game has changed since those reviews took place. But even if that is true, the critique and the feedback are important for people to be able to see as the game progresses. But just as importantly, gamers willing to roll the dice on an early access title also need to see how the developers are progressing and how they are handling the feedback. Rampage Games has decided to hide from that criticism. They've decided they're better than the criticism that it holds no value whatsoever, and that they're willing to lie and deceive to make sure that those user reviews don't harm their sales figures. Well, those user reviews absolutely should impact people's decisions. That's what they're there for. Rampage Games do not deserve your money. They've lied, they've acted dishonestly, and they've been working towards covering their tracks, and as a result have very much earned their spot on the list of dirty devs. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time.